I think it's safe to say that anyone watching this video has at some point in their life lost someone, either through death, a breakup or a breakdown in the relationship, or simply the natural drifting away that happens in the majority of friendships we'll have over the course of a life. It's likely that you've even experienced all of these at one time or another, and if you haven't yet, you will. But when a presence in a life turns into an absence, it typically doesn't happen all at once. Of course, there are always those tragedies where life and death turn in a moment: a car accident, an unexpected fatal heart attack, violence. The shock of these reverberates differently than the more typical norm of a death that takes time to occur. Trust me, I know. But more frequently, we get some time to adjust to the fact that a loved one is retreating from us. We get to sit by their bedside and say our goodbyes. Sometimes we even get a few chances to try again and again to get those goodbyes right. Whether someone's absence happens in a moment or it's protracted, though, their presence tends to linger on. Not physically, of course, but maybe spiritually or via memory, via the traces of them that reside in us. Conversations we still have with them before our heads remember that they're not around to have that conversation. They might show up seemingly randomly in a dream. A scent on the breeze can trick our senses into thinking they've just walked by. A story or a song will draw their absence close. Because that's how absence works. It's palpable, just as palpable, if not sometimes more palpable, as presence. And this means that when God is absent, that absence is palpable too. Somehow mysteriously still present in some strange way. Until the absent presence turns to actual presence once again, or perhaps even if it never does, faith means abiding in that space left vacant. So in this devotion, we're holding a sacred space that's vacant. We're holding sacred space for God's return. We've got 3 scripture passages to accompany your journey with this transgressive devotion of presence. Genesis and John affirm the ways in which the divine is embedded in creation, the way in which God holds all things together. God is somehow immaterial and en-mattered all at once. So when you enter that space, the space where the immaterial and the material meet, shadows will still follow you. Shadows not lit by light. And you can't know how long those shadows will stay. So listen to them. The reading of Song of Songs is more wild, desperate even. Unable to sleep, I find that my sacred lover is close by, but when I call, there's no answer. And then the lover's return is just as shocking as their retreat. The key, though, it turns out, was not to stir the love that bound us until it was ready to return. Whether you choose to engage with Genesis and John or Song of Songs or all 3 doesn't really matter for our activities. Go with your gut. Each meditation can take you on a different journey, or all 3 might draw journeys that you've been on together. Then, after you've engaged the meditations and the activities around presence, you'll have the choice of whether to head over to the devotion on fear next or on risk. If you're on the fence, I recommend heading over to fear. But if risk is calling you, go there instead. These meditations and activities are designed to attune your senses to the palpably present absence of God. And God is waiting for you somewhere along this path, luring you towards divine embrace. So if at some point that lures you away from where I'm sending you, don't fight it. Just relax, release, and enjoy.